For a tiny fawn, a lost star can mean losing its life. It's hard to imagine, but these forest dwellers really don't have much time to learn how to survive. Let us see if these little ones will be able to make it in the wild without their parents, or if they'll end up like dogs from animal shelters that never find a home. Welcome to my channel. Please like this video to help me make more. Chapter 1. The Lost Cub Lions Without a Pride. Baby chimpanzees can't do much on their own, so if they lose their mother, they start screaming loudly, hoping to attract the attention of adults. When a chimp loses its mother, it's left without protection and guidance, and other members of the group may not take care of it. The baby is too small to find food and care for itself. Chimpanzees grieve the loss of their babies, which might lead to serious depression. Sometimes other females in the group will help take care of the baby. Other times it's caused by human activities. And this is where humans come in. Seeing an orphaned cub, people often feel sorry for it and want to help. From the tiniest fawn to a little chimpanzee or bear cub, each of them faces challenges that test their resilience and adaptability. But nature's cruelty isn't always inevitable. Sometimes it's our human actions that contribute to these hardships. In these situations, we have a choice. We can turn a blind eye to the suffering of these animals, or we can be their helping hand. By rescuing and caring for orphan cubs, we give them a chance at a normal life. It's a challenging path, but every smile, every step these little ones take towards adapting to their environment is our reward. We don't always have the opportunity to alter the course of events in the wild, but we can be there for these animals in their darkest hour. Perhaps that's the most important lesson of all. That's why there are organizations that rescue orphaned animals and raise them until they are ready to return to their natural habitat. Of course, this requires a lot of effort, money and time. But for many people, it's all worthwhile because seeing a rescued animal return to its habitat is incredibly rewarding. In 2023, a fawn was found abandoned near St. Petersburg. The rescuers took the little animal to a veterinary clinic. The vet estimated that the fawn was about a week old. It had no serious health issues, but needed urgent help. The little deer was very weak and couldn't stand on its legs. Volunteers started bottle feeding the animal, and after a while, the fawn began to improve. After a month and a half, the animal gained enough strength and was released into the forest. It's important to note that before releasing the fawn, it was fitted with a GPS collar to track its movements. This helps ensure that the animal is adapting to its environment and surviving in the wild. Similar stories can be found all over the world. For example, in Thailand, a man came across a tiger cub that had wandered away from its mother's pride. He contacted the local authorities and together they managed to return the cub to its rightful place. Rescuers used a drone to find the tiger, but the operation wasn't easy. The predator was hiding high up in the trees, and it took quite some time to coax it down. Eventually, the tiger came down and was reunited with its family. Another incredible story happened in India. People passing by on a train spotted a monkey hanging onto the carriage roof. When they stopped, they saw a little monkey fall off the train. It turned out the baby primate had been separated from its troop. Locals contacted animal rights activists. The volunteers went to the station to pick up the monkey and took it to a rescue shelter. Once the animal was examined by a vet, it became clear that the monkey had no serious injuries. It was fed and given first aid. Then it was released back into the wild. These are just a few examples of how people can help animals in need. Each of these stories is unique and touching in its own way. By showing compassion and taking action, ordinary people can make a real difference in the lives of these animals. Who knows, maybe one day you'll have the chance to save a life yourself. These are usually older females who've had their own offspring and are now raising their grandchildren. Sometimes adult males participate in raising younger chimps, especially if they're related to them. Despite their tough appearance, adult chimpanzees are capable of showing tenderness and care towards infants. Males who share a close bond with the mother of the orphan baby might take care of the baby as if it were their own. However, Sometimes adult chimps can be overly rough when playing with youngsters, and this might hurt the orphan baby. Some researchers believe that these chimps are trying to make the youngster tougher and more adaptable to life in the wild. Overall, the chimpanzee community tries to support the orphan baby until it is old enough to take care of itself. If this doesn't happen, the baby chimp might die. So it is crucial for these little ones to receive proper care and affection from their peers so they can grow up healthy and happy. The lion is the king of the jungle, strong and respected by all animals. But what about lion cubs? They don't seem so fierce, do they? But what happens if something happens to Mama Bear? Can a young bear cub make it on its own? It turns out that young bears, like most wild animals, rely heavily on their instincts. When a bear cub is born, it already knows how to crawl, climb trees, and find food. However, these instincts aren't foolproof, and a cub needs its mother's guidance to hone these skills. Mama Bear shows her cubs where to look for berries, fish, and other treats. She also teaches them how to avoid danger and how to behave around humans. Teaching goes on for about 2 years, and during that time, the mother bear does everything to protect her cubs. She shields them from potential threats and makes sure they're ready for life on their own. If something happens to the mother bear, the cubs are in big trouble. It's unlikely that they'll survive without her, but it does happen. In such cases, the cubs will have to fend for themselves. Wildlife officials say that young bears have the best chance of survival if they stay in their natural habitat. Relocation can cause additional stress and make it harder for them to adapt. However, sometimes relocation is necessary if the area isn't safe for young bears. For example, if there are people or other animals nearby that could harm them. Young bears that are relocated have a better chance of survival because they don't have to worry about meeting predators in the wild. Plus, wildlife officials often provide them with food and monitor their progress to make sure they're doing okay. All in all, young bears can survive without their mothers, but they definitely have a better shot at it with some human help. In the wild, these little ones only have a slim chance of survival. Just 1 hour without mom can be fatal for them. Without her milk, they might die of starvation. And if they leave the pride, they'll become easy prey for other animals. Male lions tolerate their own cubs from other females in the pride, but they won't take care of them like their real dad. And even if the cub is lucky enough to grow up under the watchful eye of a male lion, he won't teach his offspring the skills they need to survive. For example, how to hunt or how to find food when there's no prey nearby. A lion that hasn't learned these skills will simply starve to death. Female lions, on the other hand, are more patient and caring. Even if she didn't give birth herself, she might take care of the orphan cub and feed it with her milk. However, there aren't many of those kind and helpful lionesses. It's estimated that less than 10% of them would take care of an orphan cub. If the cub doesn't get any help, it's likely to die within a few weeks. Sometimes a hyena or leopard might kill a lion cub. No matter how sad it sounds, this is the law of the jungle. The lion's gotta do whatever it takes to survive. So if it comes down to choosing between saving a cub and saving itself, it'll definitely choose itself. To put it bluntly, lions aren't exactly known for their mercy. That's why a lion cub has almost no chance of surviving without its mother. Plus, lions usually have their cubs in groups, meaning there's always someone else's cub nearby that could end up taking the place of the one that has been orphaned. What's more, some female lions might try to take the cub away from its pride so it can't get enough to eat. So a lion that finds itself without a pride is basically doomed. There are no second chances in the wild. One wrong move and your life is over. This is how nature works, and no one can argue with it. Chapter 2: Baby Chimpanzees, Grief and Guardianship. Chimpanzees are known for their intelligence, but when they lose their mother, even the smartest chimps are helpless. Chapter 3: Bear Cubs Learning Alone. A mother bear is fiercely protective of her cubs, and she teaches them everything they need to know to survive. Chapter 4: Human Intervention. In the wild, it's not uncommon for young animals to find themselves without their parents. Sometimes it's just bad luck. Conclusion. Life in nature is full of harsh lessons. For some creatures, it means learning to survive alone. That's all for today. Take care and see you soon. Bye.